No music? Okay, here we are. It's Dialogue with Dozie, Monday night in the city. Riding co-pilot with me tonight, my road dog, Linda Scott. Linda, what's up?
I got my little grandbaby with me. Um, hey, it's grandma time in the cold weather. Ain't that sad?
Is it cold?
That's
Is it cold out there?
it's cold here. It's cold.
Okay, family.
Yeah.
Linda is in Clutch City, H-Town, Houston, Harris County, a place where we almost set up shop as a family. My kids probably would have been born there, but God, it was a different direction. And so we ended up in Florida by way of Kentucky, Illinois, and then back to South Florida where we are now. Hot
All
Button
right.
Monday tonight. Listen, tonight's show on Family Legacy is going to be put off to another time. We're still gonna have that show. It's too important of a show, and we have 4 generations to talk about it. But tonight we're gonna do tonight's Hot Button Monday has several topics. We got the Super Bowl contenders. Hey, we're gonna open up with in just a second with a not so happy topic, but we're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about the Supreme Court nomination. We're going to talk about the political division in this nation. We're going to just put several things out here for you all to talk about. And I'm just so glad I got my road dog with me, Linda, by my side. So, Linda, other than being cold out there, what else going on?
Man, other than being cold, there's not a whole lot of stuff going on. We trying to get man, what I'm gonna do with this grandbaby? I'm trying to get her into the business too. So apparently this is her night. So this is my co-host. But other than the cold weather, man, we ain't doing a whole lot. You can't do it because Houston has that bipolar weather. You don't know 15 minutes from now is 80 degrees. The next 10 minutes is 32 degrees. So we ain't doing much of nothing.
Well, it was cold here yesterday, and it was real cold. And it got warm enough, and my buddy told me it was warm enough to play golf. So I go charging outside with shorts on, and it was in the 70s. It was in the 70s. It was a little cool in the shade. But by the time the sun had gone down, and I had gone into the store to get a few items, it was a little difficult. But 60s is better than it was yesterday. So we still live in the Southland. We better off than people up north.
Than us. Yeah, because we had what did we have yesterday? We didn't do bad yesterday. We had like the high 50s, middle 50s. So we'll take that at any given time though. Whatever y'all got 70. Yeah, we want some of that. We want some. Oh, you ain't brushed my hair. It's pretty already.
Well, listen, before we kick the night show off, and I said we're going to kick it off with a real serious topic. It's Hot Button Monday. You get to make the broadcast tonight. We depend on your interacting with us and so forth. But we want to acknowledge tonight that tonight is what, 20? How many years, Linda, since Nikki?
23. Yesterday was 23.
I thought you said that 23 years ago. Our beautiful co-host has lost her daughter in a very tragic accident. I know it was around the Super Bowl season. I had no idea. So that means I've been out here a long time now.
A long time. Yeah.
You want to say a word about your beautiful daughter?
Dog, we got the whole show because you see what I'm going through, y'all. I'm trying. But that little girl is my firstborn, my first daughter, my only daughter. So the heart of gold. And she gave me my first grandson. He was 9 months old at the time of her accident. And man, that girl, I don't know, man. I don't even know what to say, where to go, because that chick was everything to me. She was all, we say, I don't know how we'll live without our children or someone that's close to us. But God put other children in my life. That's how I got a chance to get Toya. So I'm happy that you all were. My beautician say my hair not right. Y'all please forgive me. But that's this is a part of Nikki right here. This makes me strong. This keeps me breathing, shall I say, is this little girl right here. This is Tim's baby girl, only child. And she acts just like her auntie, and she's never seen her. But it's something else to lose a child. But then we have to learn the purpose of us losing that particular child, because there is a purpose behind everything that we do. Life brings about something. So if it had not been for, and I don't know how this is going to sound, but if it had not been for my daughter's death, where would I be today? Would I be doing what I'm doing? And I love what I'm doing.
Well, I saw, I know it's in the, and we're not going to spend the night because we want to move on to some happier things. But
Yeah.
Our bond grew during that season, of course, because you and Jerry and family allowed me to be a part of that as we were ministering with you through the Mount Bethel Church. We just hey, hats off to Nikki, and thank God for sending her our way. That's
thank you.
And I want to say this about my co-host tonight. I had the opportunity to just see her grow exponentially, spiritually, through that whole ordeal. And I saw God, she lost a daughter, and her career kind of ended shortly after that. And I saw God put her in the people business, where she started investing, where she was working for a corporation and making money for a corporation, and all those people skills being displayed now. She took those skills and invested into young ladies. Plus size models, and all over this nation, there's a generation of models that will have Linda Scott to show appreciation to, for letting them know. Now you see plus size majorettes and plus size in everything. I don't frequent strip clubs, but I understand they're part of that market now, and it was more than just advertising clothing. What Linda's done for those young ladies. She's talked about on the show. She has really put some esteem into them, and I've seen them from the ground up, her behind the scenes, and I just want to shout you out, Linda, for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Go look at that.
We're going to start tonight's show out with.
Go look in your bag. Go get it.
We're going to start tonight's show out. Not the happiest of things. There have been 3 notable suicides in our community. Miss America tragically jumped from her apartment building. Miss Universe. Yeah. From 72 feet or something high. I mean, the most tragic of deaths. Regina King's only child, her son, committed suicide by shooting himself. Well, we don't know how he did, but he committed suicide about 2 weeks ago now. And then this past weekend, a young politician on the rise, an African American, who was the mayor of one of the suburbs of the District of Columbia, who had a great political career. He was on the upswing. He shot himself. All of this happened in the span of about a week and a half. And suicide is not something that has been a big thing in the African American community. And to lose 3 high-profile individuals like that, I just think we want to spend a second and talk about that, and talk about the help that's out there for people that have mental health or emotional problems. Listen, don't cash in the chips. There is help. There is help, and we just want to kind of just lay that out there. I've recently been, I counsel people, and learned the other day of a person who said that they had recently unsuccessfully tried that, and the shock and all of that it's just, life is, I mean, I can approach this from a spiritual standpoint, and my spiritual standpoint does not say you commit suicide, you doom eternally, because if a murderer can be convicted, so can a self-murderer. So I don't sign on to that. And if you do, and that's your philosophy, and you like to talk about it, please contact. Just feel free to sign in. But I just want to talk about suicide from the suicide from the secular point of view. It's worth fighting for. Your life is worth fighting for. There are brighter days. There is help. There's all kind of help. They're doctors, they're therapists, they're psychiatrists. And if you're thinking that, or you know somebody who does, just ask them to give it a shot. Don't throw in the towel. We're just saying that let's not give up on life. It's just life. As Teddy Pendergrass once said, life is a song worth singing, and we just want us to think about that. Then anything else before we move on from that subject? I just want to put that out there for people to. We don't know who may see this show even later, and upon seeing this show, our words may encourage them. You see the little one; she's holding a little one. There's a little one that's looking up to you somewhere that you may not even know about. If you can't think of yourself, think of others in that sense. Then, okay, we're not hearing you. You're muted, I guess. Okay. So, is she muted, Madam Producer?
Yes, I am. I got a noisy person behind me, so I don't know how we're gonna handle this.
Okay. Just hang in, and we'll go from here. We're going. I'm going on to another hot button subject, and that is the Supreme Court of the United States. There is an opening. Justice Breyer is retiring from the court, and wow, there's no way I can approach this topic without ticking Fern and others off. But it's gonna deal with the hypocrisy of the Republican Party. The president has already signed on to say that he is going to select an African American woman he's signing on. He's going to select an African American woman to fill Justice's position. And I just want to, hold on before we go. Let me see. First says, my nephew committed suicide, but there were no indications he was depressed. There's a lot of guilt in his loss. Fern, I want to ask you. You said there's a lot of guilt in his loss. Is that guilt with the mother or the parents or even you as an auntie? Where does that guilt lie? We'll take a second and talk about that, because we know that guilt is a tool and a trick of it's not from God. Conviction is from God, and it's the corrective action. Guilt is to bind us and hold us down. I didn't want to get too theological, but if I need to tonight, we'll do that. It's after all, it's a hot butt Monday, so we'll do what we need to do. We'll wait. Okay, Fern. Okay, so Linda.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, y'all.
No, we're just saying on the guilt issue. We're just saying that it's not. I know Regina King must be kind of going through that right now, and I hope that people are leading her away from that, because there was no indication that young man was going to do that. Just a week earlier, he had gone on his IG account and was shouting out his mother's. There was the holidays,
yeah,
New Year's, and then he was asking people to attend an event that he was DJing. So there was no indication that there was anything going on. And you're talking about a young man, young in his early 30s, yeah. I think he was.
Yeah, it's the guilt goes whether our children commit suicide or, as Nikki did in a car accident, we still feel guilty as a parent. And I don't know how we as parents would get around that, because we always feel there was something that we could have done to stop them from, running into that particular stage in their life. So the only thing that I can ask from anybody is to pray and help lift everyone in those situations. You can't get around it. You can't get around. You can't cut guilt. You can't put it in on 2 pieces of bread and say that's peanut butter and jelly. It don't work like that. That was your child. You're guilty because I didn't see it coming. You're guilty because I didn't hear it coming. So guilt is something else. It's something else. Like I said, the only thing you could do is pray in that situation for everybody.
If you don't mind me asking, you're saying that there's guilt in your situation. How could that be guilt? Your daughter is a grown young lady, and she's heading. She's not going to do anything wrong. She's heading to a Super Bowl celebration. So why is it? Why is it guilt?
Why is it guilt for me? Because I felt like I could have said, "Nikki, don't go to that one. Come and go somewhere else." That was. I mean, there's no way that you're going to make me see anything different because that is how guilt operates. So guilt was. It was just there. It was I was talking to you. I gave you my last I love you. I gave you my last hug. Could I have done something different? Could I have changed the routing that you were taking? All of those things apart. You can't that's crazy. That's the whole thing right there in depression for a parent. For a parent. I see this is coming. I dreamt my daughter's accident. How about that? I dreamt it. But back in the day, the old people tell us if you dream about a woman, it's a man, and opposite. So by me dreaming about her in the accident, exactly how it occurred, I go looking for my oldest son, Dondrell, to tell him not to get in anybody's way. So you see where my guilt come in from? Thought you had the person in front of you and you didn't tell her not to go here or not to do this.
Okay. I can't relate because I have not lost a child. I've had children that have been in some precarious situations. I have lost a family member. But I just think at some point, some of the guilt is a tool of the enemy to bind us and to get us and hold us down. We're already dealing with the grief of the loss of and I guess I've kind of learned. I've heard my wife say this before, but I've learned that when you lose someone close to you, you feel like a part of you has been torn away. God, God gives us the substance to kind of push through it. But I'm not trying to be superficial here. The word I'm looking for, to cope with it. In other words, that it just doesn't totally destroy us. But I think guilt is another layer that the enemy puts on us, and I think that's what we have to push through. Conviction. See, conviction is from God. Conviction is about turnaround, and it's about a better path. But guilt it binds us up. Guilt is a level of bondage that keeps us down. And so I just think that I just think that some things we have to press through, push through. Listen, I got my niece on the line, and I want to ask her to join in. We were doing one topic tonight, maybe we still might. Kristin, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you all?
We good, baby. We good. Listen, we might have this party tonight after all. I want you to, if you don't mind, we started off talking about the suicide, and this is far from where we were going tonight. I don't know if producer had a chance to tell you what's going on. We kind of morphed over to a hot button Monday, and we started out by talking about the recent rafts rash of suicides in the African American community. And my co-host Linda, who's like a sister of mine, Toya calls her auntie. She lost a daughter 23 years ago in a tragic accident heading to a Super Bowl party down here. And we're just talking about the guilt of losing of loved ones. Do you have any, can you weigh in on that? I know that's part of what we were going to discuss tonight, but are you able to weigh in on that?
No, I can't say I really can relate to any guilt. I've lost my brother, of course, and there's I don't know, I guess regret maybe is the word. A little bit of regret, things that you wish you could have said maybe, or had said, had you known that the person, you wouldn't see them again. And then them not being here to be with their children and see them grow up. But I can't really relate to the guilt.
Do you think that maybe guilt is do you think that's something that the enemy would like to put on us in a time of tragedy or post-tragedy, so as it is, and it's something that spiritual armor helps to resist?
Definitely. I think even regret could be, something that if you let anything that you let fester or eat you up inside, because I don't believe God intends for us to dwell on the loss. So anything that can hinder us from healing, I believe, could be an attack of the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my heart goes out to Infern Wade. I see she's saying that the guilt comes, particularly in a suicidal case, that a parent or loved one was unable to detect that a person was at that level of hurt. But I mean,
I can understand that.
Yeah, we mask that though. We mask our hurts and our pain, I think, a lot of times.
Sure, yeah.
Kristin, I'm kind of at a crossroads right here. I'm trying to, I think we're being helpful on our topic, but we ask you on, and I see the panelists kind of checking in now. I'm going to go out and I'm going to let you all and Pastor Burrell discuss that. And I'm going to get our Jim on. I'm going to get my mother on, and we're gonna savage this show tonight. Pastor Burrell, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, sir. How you doing?
Doing great, sir. Listen, I'm going to sign out. I want to let you all just kind of talk about legacy, and I'm going to try to get our Jim on, our 91-year-old mother on, and we'll see if Toya can get the younger ones in the generation, and we can go on with the show tonight.
Okay, my volume is a little bit low. If she can turn me up a little bit.
You might have to do that on your device, I think. I'm not sure.
I got it all the way up.
Okay, I don't know if she can engineer that any other. Well, I'll tell you what we're talking about before I go out. We're talking about guilt as regards to people who have had, as we were talking earlier today about the suicides. One of our viewers just says there's guilt. She lost her nephew, and she's talking about the guilt. And then Linda, our panelist, you haven't had a chance to meet her yet. That's like a sister to me. She has been talking about the loss. She lost a daughter, her only daughter, 23 years ago, heading out to a Super Bowl party. And I was blessed to be able to minister to the family. That's how we grew to be as close as we are. And if y'all would just facilitate that, I'm going to go out and try to get my mother on so we can at least do the other half of the show here.
That sounds good. Looking forward to seeing Miss Hazel.
Okay, all right. That's Kristin. That's our niece. That's Toya's cousin. And y'all just take it. I'll be right back. Dr. Burrell?
All right, so Doc, you give us your feedback on the guilt of losing a loved one. I was telling them that I felt guilty when my daughter was killed in her accident. And I know people are saying, how could you, like Reb just said, how could you feel guilty? And it was not in my control. But I felt after everything was over that I could have said something to redirect her direction. So, what's your opinion on guilt in a loved one?
That's directed to me, Sister Linda.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, listen, I know that's such a difficult situation. Uh, just today, I had an opportunity to talk to the widow of one of my high school classmates. God called him home 2 days before Christmas,
Mm,
and naturally, with just a little over a month, she's still processing, still going through, and I can imagine how that would be something of even a greater concern when someone loses a loved one because of suicide.
mm,
You spend a lot of time in the what ifs.
mm-hmm,
What if I had said this? What if I
mm-hmm,
had done this? And sometimes the difficulty is just not knowing,
mm,
not
yes.
understanding that a loved one was just in that much of a situation
Mm-hmm,
that, unbeknownst to us, they were contemplating taking their own lives.
mm,
That's something that can just really rattle you and something that can shake you.
mm-hmm,
So I know there's no cookie cutter solution, but
mm-hmm,
and each situation is individual. But still, I guess the initial thing, Sister Linda, is the shock.
mm-hmm,
It's a
yeah.
shock. My
Mm-hmm,
friend had worked 40 years on a job. Naturally, was getting ready and thinking about retiring. He worked 28 years on another job, you
mm,
know, and all I could think about, just from a financial standpoint, uh, he'd never lived to collect any pension,
tension.
never lived to collect any Social Security.
Mm-hmm,
Uh,
mm-hmm,
uh, 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 the whole thing of enjoying life.
right.
Last August, I went out to Las Vegas. That was my first time going. And
Mm,
I'm always telling people, you know, certainly the Lord wants us to be prudent and to use our resources wisely, but we can't pile them all up into one basket
mm-hmm,
and never utilize any of them ourselves.
right.
Never take that vacation, never do some of the things. And as a minister of the gospel, I've seen it happen too many times where people sacrificed, people did everything in their power,
Mm-hmm,
thinking about uh, those who would come behind them. And the people who work so hard to secure these resources, they like, well, I still got to save. I can't do this and I can't do that. And I've seen those who survive them, they don't have any problem spending it. I mean, they get
mm,
rid of it fast, you
yeah,
know. So
unfortunately.
that's a balancing act. That's a
Mm,
balancing act, for us and the things that we need to at least think about and the things we need to do.
right, right. I agree with you to a certain, well, if you have not experienced the loss, then we're not on the same page. But of a kid, of your child, because
Mm-hmm.
we still got that mindset that our children supposed to bury us. And my whole idea around my daughter was I felt death in my family. And then in feeling death in my family, I just assumed it was me. I went through as far as getting my dress prepared, getting the contacts of these people who you need to reach out to, who will be able to help you while I'm gone. So it's the children. Wow, real. That's so crazy. I can't even put the right words in place. because we see all these things that happen. We did not, we were not able to read the book until the story happened. It was presented to us, but we didn't know what we was getting ready to read. So it's and I know we shouldn't. I know I shouldn't be feeling guilty, but me knowing that and doing it is two different things. So I don't know how we do it. I could just all I could do is say God, but God, but
Amen.
God, but God. And every time I get into that mode, that I have to say, but God. So anything else that you are doing, okay, here I am. And there's nothing that I could fix. There's no way I would be able to say, oh no, I wouldn't have did it that way. I would have did it this way. The only thing I could say is, but God. That's my my take of it.
Amen. Amen. And I think another thing too, Sister Scott, is the number of loved ones who are involved.
Mm-hmm.
I say that in this respect. When I've seen parents lose that only child,
Mm-hmm.
that was all
Mm-hmm.
they had.
Yes.
My heart just really goes out for them.
Mm-hmm.
My wife and I, we have 4 children, and we weren't trying to have 4 children. It just happened like that. But we are so grateful to God for each and
For
every
that.
one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And we just can't thank and praise God enough. And I've not had the occasion to have any of my children predecease me, but life of ministry, I've seen many others who have.
Yeah.
And I've seen the pain. I've seen what they've had to endure,
Mm-hmm.
as a result of having. And you're right. In the regular scheme of things, we do go first, and our children
Mm-hmm.
are left behind
Mm-hmm.
to carry on a legacy and that kind of thing. And that whole only child scenario just comes up to me, because if it's the parents who lose the only child, that's one dynamic.
Right.
But if it's the only child who loses a parent, they don't have anyone to share that
Yeah.
load
Right.
with.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
and when we say the things that we know need to be done,
Mm-hmm.
the planning of a service and
Mm-hmm.
just all kinds of things, it
Yes.
makes a world of difference
Yes,
to
it
have
does.
somebody to help you shoulder that responsibility.
Right. Right. You're absolutely right on that. Well, in my case, I had 2 boys, and she was the only daughter.
Okay.
So it was one of those. How do you tell your other 2 children? No, I don't love you no more than I loved her. It was just the void that has been taken, and nobody else can ever replace that. And for them to see you going through over their siblings. Well, what about us, Mom? What about us? How do we survive?
And
What do
parents,
we do?
sometimes we feel the relational dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
My oldest child, she and Pastor Varner's son, Dozie, were born within a couple of months of each other. So
Mm-hmm.
we've known each other a long time. My nickname for my daughter, it even appears in my cell phone, is number 1.
Uh-huh.
And she is simply referred to as number 1 by virtue of birth order. She's
Oh,
my
yes.
first child. You
Yes,
see?
yes.
Now, when you tell something that's my number 1,
Right.
it's easy for other people to interpret. You
I
think more
love
of
her
her than you
more.
do
Yeah.
me. Yeah. And those are the times when
Yeah.
you simply look up to heaven and say, Lord, help us.
Help.
Yeah, help
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I've had so many different dynamics,
Yeah.
involved, and you learn to roll with the punches.
Right.
Yeah, you learn to. That must be a grandchild, Miss Linda.
It is. It is. That's my baby boy, first child, and it's a girl, and she's everything to me. So I didn't know she was gonna be here tonight, but what can I say?
But that's
I
all
wouldn't
right.
trade it
What a
in. I
blessing.
wouldn't trade it in.
What a blessing.
Yes, Lord.
That's all
So
right.
yeah. So that's where we were headed earlier tonight. And it's so unfortunate that we lose our children to either suicide, that we have no control, that they have hidden it so well that we thought, oh, I saw all the signs, I did this, I did that, and I know he know I loved him, and this and that. And why would he take himself, or herself? So we have to look at we have to go back to the surroundings that you and I had yesterday, where our parents said, who is that? And who are they parents? That makes a difference.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that makes a
yes.
strong difference. So I don't know how we're gonna get back there, but we have to get back there. There's no way that that you could have I can have you come over to my house and my parents don't say who is that young man? Or they even say, young man, who that boy? Who that boy? Who is people? Because then they want to know your background.
Right.
Are you going to take me somewhere I should not be mentally? We ain't talking physically. We're talking mentally, because the mentally, the emotion part of all of this is what happens in the suicide area. So, and I can only tell you that because that's how I felt when my child was killed. I was trying to commit suicide, Reb. I was trying to run to the back of an 18-wheeler, but God said no. And I was mashing that accelerator to the floor, and that car would not go. So knowing the man upstairs, knowing who the people who we keep, that's one of our that's one of the biggest opponent that we need to get back to.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. I had a situation similar to that, Sister Scott, when in high school my daughter was a part of the majorettes of the marching band.
Mm-hmm.
And for the sake of uniformity, all the girls had to go buy this hair and get it sewn in, and so everybody look alike. Well, my daughter was blessed because she already had long hair.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, now somebody's crazy, either me or you, and I know it ain't me. I'm gonna go buy you hair, and you already got hair. And then we had to go over to this lady's house in order to get it attached and sewn in or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to the lady's house, and I'm sitting up in their living room, family room, while my daughter is back in a bedroom, having her hair worked on. And the young lady who was my daughter's colleague, bandmate,
Mm-hmm.
her mother came to the door, and her mother got in the door, and the first thing she said, she looked dead at me like, "Who are you?"
That's it.
And I'm like, well, because I'm one of them dads, I wasn't about to send my daughter to some strange house, and
The house, right.
I didn't know
Right.
where she was going and who she was going to be with.
Right.
So that's what we did. So
Yeah.
you're right.
Right.
We just have to be more vigilant. We have to be
Right.
vigilant. We have to engage people.
Oh,
We have to find out who they are, where they're from, what you're thinking, what's on your mind.
Right.
When you said this, and I see our two co-hosts are here, when you said that we have to take the opportunity to get to know, sometimes you have to be creative in doing that.
Right. Right.
Yesterday's football game, when the Rams played the 49ers, it was Brandon Norwood who sang the national anthem. Many years ago when my children were being raised, she's starting a show called Moesha.
Right.
And one of the ways that I was able to engage my children, I sat down and watched Moesha with them.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and gain some invaluable daddy-daughter
Yeah.
time to
Right.
try to say,
Right.
what are you thinking? What's
Mm-hmm.
on your mind?
Guys,
How you
let me butt
feeling?
in.
And because of electronic devices and technology, we've really gotten away from being able to talk to those around us, you know, to even begin to get a gauge on what's going on in their
Going on.
lives.
All right, let me butt in. Are y'all able to hear me?
Yeah, we are.
Okay,
Yeah.
I apologize. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna incorporate the so next month, next Monday night. What's up, Kim?
Hey man, what's going on?
You got it. You got
doing?
Good, Kim.
Good.
Yeah,
Good to see everybody.
Next Monday starts African American History Month. So which of these weeks are you all available for? We're going to do a show on the Black family. What night are you all available? We'll do a section of it. I'm doing one show will be on 1 week's the Black family, 1 week's Black entrepreneurism and education. Once is advocacy. One month is going to be Black advocacy and the call for reparations, and the fourth Monday that's to be worked out. Which of those Mondays are you all available to come? I can talk about the Black family.
I would have to check my schedule for February.
Dr. Burrell, how about you?
Doc, probably, I think if the schedule runs true to form, the third Monday night should be when we celebrate President's Day. So that would be a good Monday night for me, wherever you are in the rotation. And
Kristin,
whatever
Kristin,
your
you available
subject
on the
matter.
third Monday night? You and Kim?
It kind of echoed a little bit there. What did you say?
I was just ascertaining if you're available on the third Monday night. We're gonna redo the fam. So we're doing all things with. We're gonna look at the Black family as one of the months, one of the Monday night dialogues for the month of February, and I got the panel kind of trying to agree on a Monday night. Would the third Monday night probably work for you? We do it the Black family that night.
Let me see here. Weekdays are really kind of tough for me, as you can see, with getting homework and stuff. But that looks like that's a holiday, so I that would probably work out.
KB, you around? You will you be on the road that week?
What day you said?
It's the third Monday night.
The third Monday night. Let's see. I'm out of town next week. I'll be down in Miami. Matter of fact, this week coming up, I'll leave Sunday to go down there. So I'll be back home that third week, I think.
So that'll be the 15th. No, it won't be the 15th. That'll be the 21st.
Yeah, like I said, I think I'll be home that third week. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's tentatively plan, and we would have worked out the logistics to get everybody back on there, and we'll look at the Black family. For Black History Month, we're looking at entrepreneurism, we're looking at education, we're looking at the criminal justice system, advocacy, and the night that we look at the Black family, we'll just save that for the third Monday night. Then to clear your schedule, girl, for that third Monday night.
I'll try my best. I'll try my best.
Okay, we'll as part of that show, Kristin, I know you're tied up during the week. We'll bring our Jim back on, and we'll take maybe 30 minutes of that show to talk about the Black family, and talk about family legacy, which we want to do tonight. We'll just make that a part of the Black family as we look at that, and we'll come in and we'll look at those kind of. What I want to do right now, and then you guys, thank you all for keeping the show running. Last week we had Jeannie Arbaugh was on the show. She has been scheduled to come on several weeks. She had one tragedy. Her husband had a stroke one night right when it was time to sign on to the dialogue. And another night, her brother was sick. But she came on and she brought thunder last week. And for you all that don't know, she does Showering Grace, Showers by Love, where she has now 2 buses that park in predominantly homeless areas. And she park in those areas and they give, the bus is equipped with showers. And homeless individuals get on and they take showers. And then they have brand new clothing for them. They have all kind of wraparound services outside of the bus. And the other night, the other day, that's why she was on. She was talking about a new bus that was being donated by, I think it was the city of Dade County donated a bus, and they converted it. And I went down to City Hall, and we just want to show some of that, some of the pictures and some of the video from that occasion last week. And normally we shout her out at the halfway point when we mention our producers, more GoGigaCreations.com. But we also want to show you tonight, instead of a shout out, this is a different show. We're not doing a shout out. I mean, we're not doing a dang dog. We're not doing a Are You Serious? But tonight we're doing a shout out to Showering Love. And we want to show you some of the pictures from the event on last Wednesday, downtown City Hall, Fort Lauderdale. Those were the, we just shout out Jeannie and the beautiful work that she does. That's her in the red. I don't know who that guy is with his arm around her. We'll tell her husband about that. And you see her being interviewed. The mayor, a judge, we're going to talk to her and shoot some video. She's in court on Monday nights. You see they were cutting the ribbon of the second bus. Is called, the first bus is called Grace. This bus is called Faith. And downtown Fort Lauderdale, City Hall is right around, blocks around that is where all of the homeless population congregates. And a lot of the homeless shelters are just a few blocks away. And if you know anything about most homeless populations, they have to have, they don't have a place to go during the daytime. And they just kind of survive. And then at night, they go into, they can get into a shelter, they get into a shelter. But we had a video, I don't know, Madam Producer is able to show one of the wraparound services.
Hey. So we are now Showers by Grace and Showers by Faith. Let's
Congratulations.
All right. You guys, we got pictures. Let's do it. Ready?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Come on, Evan.
1, 2, 3.
And then I did a video with a young man who was receiving one of the rap services. Can we go to that video and let's hear his story?
Okay, this is one of the rap services of Showering Love, and this brother is
Cole James Young.
Cole James, and listen, he is being blessed by the magnificent work. Barber, what's your name, sir?
Greg the Barber, baby.
Greg the Barber. All right. Just a comment on the services that's rendered through this magnificent ministry of God.
I'll tell you right now, it feels good basically not to do my own hair and to have my hair cut. I've been needing and wanting to do it, but obviously I got some issues with homelessness and everything. But this right here, it feels good to have someone cut your hair. Sometimes even, you know, like wash your feet, whatever, you know what I'm saying?
My brother,
so I feel blessed.
yeah.
I feel blessed. This is priceless at the end of the day.
It goes beyond a haircut. It's about love.
Yeah. It's about it's relationship, respect, love.
Bless you, brother. Appreciate it.
Okay, that was Showering Love. That was Faith. That was the christening of their second bus. And that young man was getting his hair cut. And you heard what he had to say. And so we shout her out every week here on the dialogue. And she got donations from being on the show last week. What a great show. She was affluent. She was abused. She then became a victim of abuse. She became homeless for 10 years. She lived on the streets and she told her story. And now God has built her back up, and she has this magnificent ministry where they go around and give showers to our homeless population, give them new clothes. Griff is there registering them to vote. It's just a total rap service, and we're grateful for it. Before we sign off tonight, I know we were talking about the suicide issue, and I hope we kind of in the guilt of losing loved ones and that kind of thing. I think we kind of tied that piece down. Before we sign off, I want to kind of ask you all, how do you feel about the Supreme Court nomination is coming down? The president has announced that he is going to nominate an African-American woman. And those on the right, African-American lady, those on the right are making a big deal about that, saying that it is prejudicial for him to even make that statement. When Ronald Reagan ran, he said he was going to appoint the first woman to the court. How do y'all feel about that?
My opinion is it should have been done a long time ago. And as I will always say, as a Black woman, there's nobody smarter than a Black woman. I don't know how y'all gonna handle me with that, but this is something that should have been done a long time ago. When you can go and appoint someone less than 30 days to get on to take care of you, but he can't appoint no one to take care of the real issues that we are having. That's the problem that I see it. I'm all for it. Bring them on.
I think you brought up a vital issue. I'm trying to stay friends with Fern and everybody tonight. But man, Mitch McConnell is going to have to. That he is evil personified. He rushed through that nomination for the previous president and rushed in the the Supreme Court is stacked philosophically. It has no balance to it. It's far right, and so I think for the president to announce that and that he's fulfilling a campaign promise, I see no problem in that. And hopefully, I was looking at the Sunday shows. I saw one of the commentators said that they were on when it was one of the justices after Thomas was on, and they said that was when we had civility in the Senate and everybody, we worked across the aisles and the number of the nominations was like 70 to 30 or something. It's not this craziness that we're experiencing now. Pastor Burrell, you and Kristin, what are y'all think? I know, Kristin, you didn't sign in for this tonight. We kind of filling in. What do you think about this whole thing about the rights complaint about the president already saying that he's going to nominate an African-American woman to the court?
Well, where do we start, Dr. Varner?
I want you to bring my niece in. I want you to bring Kristin in.
We have we can't get away from the fact, and I know people don't like to talk about it, that this country is thoroughly racist, and it's woven into the fabric of everything that we are. As long as you got 9 white Supreme Court justices, I mean, that's fine. And then we get a Thurgood Marshall, and he's such a brilliant jurist. And then we when Thurgood Marshall dies, we in the African American community clamored saying he has to be replaced by another black. Well, George Bush got us real good. Said, you want black, we give you black. He gave us Clarence Thomas.
Yes, Thomas.
So you know what? President Biden knows he owes it to us. We all know the story well of what James Clyburn did by helping him to win the primary in South Carolina and literally change the race.
That's right.
Change the race. And that's one of the things that was negotiated in that settlement. Not only would we get an African American, but an African American female. So the old saying, to the victor goes the spoils. And that's what's happening in that situation. I've seen
but Pastor, we getting the African American female who's qualified. We ain't just putting somebody in
But
there.
see, thank you, Sister Linda. You know what? We didn't even need to say that. You know, that's
Yeah.
that's one of those paper tigers we're chasing, because I grew up like many of you did when we were told you had to be twice as good to get half as much.
That's right.
And there are situations when you see us there, you know, it don't take us long to know if someone is a token or if someone is qualified, someone
Right.
is competent, someone is not qualified, overqualified.
Yeah.
You know, one of the people that's being considered is Shirley Lynn Eiffel, and she's a cousin of Gwen Eiffel, who passed away on used to do the PBS News Hour, and that sister is an expert
That's
on
right.
the Supreme Court. You know what I mean? She is an expert. Now, I mean, hey, are any of those other 8 people that are there? Bri's still there. Bri's not going anywhere until the seat is actually filled. Do any of those other 9 fit that qualification? I dare say not. You know what I mean? So the fact of being qualified, we don't have to worry about President Biden putting somebody up there just for the sake of putting somebody up there. You know, whoever she happens to be, she's gonna be more than qualified.
Let me ask Kristin this, and we're gonna get out of here. Let me ask Kristin this. The youngest, and in fact, she's with child. She's with my nephew. She has a nephew, and my nephew en route. But Kristin, let me ask you. You heard her talk about her brother, deceased brother. She and her husband Travis do a great job with 2 of those kids. His kids, they mentor and pretty much raise them. She has the son there now. But Kristin, let me ask you a more general question, and we're gonna get you out of here. With all of the book banning and critical race theory and all of this stuff being banned, how do you feel as a young mother whose kids is Savannah headed to public school, or are you going to send her through the private school?
The plan is to send her to public school. My husband and I are both products of one of the top high schools in the country. So that's our goal, is to get her there.
So let me ask you this: how do you feel about the banning or these Republican governors stepping in so tough that they're basically saying that you can't even teach anything about the racist past of this nation? How do you feel? And if that happens, what obligation do you and your husband feel to raise your children, your 4 children? What obligation do you have to really apprise them of their history and the history of this nation as it pertains to them as African Americans?
Well, I believe, based on how my parents raised me and my brothers, it's our responsibility anyway, because they're not going to teach it. Even if they continue to do what they currently do, they're not teaching us the full truth. From what I know, from what I've learned in school, a lot of the African American history that I know is because my parents taught me that, or because I took the time out to do research and learn about it myself. So to me, it's my responsibility to instill that in my children. I don't depend on, the school to do that.
That's right.
Now, it's nice if they do it, but then I want to fact check what it is that they're actually, my husband always says how, like, one of his favorites is Malcolm X. And he said as a kid, he always wondered why they always talked about Martin Luther King, but they never really talked about Malcolm X in school. But and as adults now, we know it's because of some of his beliefs, but it wasn't all bad. So we shouldn't have just thrown into to add to that, some of what I did learn about Malcolm X as a child, when I became an adult, I got a different perspective on those things. So like I said, I think it's our responsibility to instill that knowledge, instill those values in our children ourselves.
So Lyndon, Pastor, when I was when we were in Illinois, which is where we served prior to coming down here, it was one of the most unique communities that you could ever imagine, Kristin. Your cousins were raised in a community of about 21,000 people, where African Americans made up 1% of the population. Can you all even imagine that? Dr. Burrell, I know living in South Florida, that's unimaginable. But so I can't say that they were raised in a totally prejudiced environment. In fact, one of the things I went there and the church had a pastor in residence for the first time in 20 some years, and the community rallied around our church because they knew that was a missing link. The Black church was not the entity that it could have been, and they really rallied around that. But one of the things that I felt was because there was absolutely no Black culture there, absolutely no Black culture. We're blocked from Chicago, and there's no Black culture. So one of the things we did was organize a chapter of the NAACP, and Jonathan Jackson, who is Jesse's son, who basically runs Operation Push now, came in and was our keynote speaker for that event. But every African American History Month, we celebrated. It was a culture teaching that they could not get. The teachers that were just not equipped, not because out of prejudice. So there was no orientation to Black folk, and so there was no knowledge of it. So that was incumbent upon me to help our community with that. Now, we can't even imagine that growing up in metropolitan cities, Jacksonville, Palm Beach, or Virginia, even. That's hard to imagine. But I think, Kristin, you said the thing is that we have to teach our kids. It's incumbent upon us. We shouldn't look to, just like you can't, so they cut prayer out of school, out of the schools. Okay, that's something that we should teach anyway. And we should be wise enough to be able to teach our children to discreetly pull away and have a word of prayer when they need to. They got an exam. You better close your eyes and pray, especially if you ain't studied for it like I did. So I just want to just throw that before we leave tonight. And you guys have been so great to help us tonight. We've had to make some changes. But what do you think of what's incumbent upon parents, upon the Black community? You know, it used to be a time when Linda, when we got our tails whipped, if that neighbor called home, we gonna get another when we get home. It was just, that was what the community was about, and we kind of lost all of that. Can we ever get back to that? And that's not being prejudiced, segregationist, but that's just talking about us looking up our own building. What do y'all think about that?
Well, that's what Pastor and I was talking about. We have to get back to yesterday. How do we get back there? It's going to take Kristin and her generation to help us with that, because we need to monitor our children. We need to be strong parents. If they can't, as you stated, I can't pray in church. Before I left home, I said a prayer, and then you taught me, as you said, because I needed that prayer before my test too, to say that prayer. So we have to teach our kids and not depend on nobody else to do so. That's what we're sitting around waiting on, somebody to teach my child how to do something. But what's wrong with you?
So Fern is saying, she's saying, I grew up in the past Fern is a sister that your dad introduced me to. We become like sisters, Christian. She's saying that I grew up in the past atrocities of slavery and the Civil War, but we need to know I graduated in 1966, and yes, we were segregated. We weren't grown up with severe racist teachings, just no teachings at all. And all I'm saying is that today, Pastor, these governors are restricting any teaching on that. They're saying that it's giving one race of people a guilt complex. And we're just trying to say, listen, this is the more information we have, the better we are to navigate in a society. Mm-hmm. And there's a realm that don't want to talk about it all. What do you say about that, Doc?
Well, we don't have to worry so much about book burnings and book bannings of what's going on, because we are far beyond having one small local library. We have Google. We have the internet now. So I'm able to go in my phone, and what they told me that I can't read, I got access to it. Mm-hmm. You know, I use the Apple Books feature on my iPhone, and buy books. So that won't be as big of a thing. I want to piggyback on something I heard Sister Kristin say, and that was when white America saw that they had to deal with the demands of a Martin Luther King Jr. versus those of Malcolm X. It reminds me of James Cone's book, Martin and Malcolm, The Dream or the Nightmare. Mm-hmm. Which one do I accept?
That's right.
To be honest, I really don't want either one of them. Mm-hmm. From their perspective. It's like my pastor used to say, a dog don't care, if it's a white rabbit, black rabbit, spotted rabbit, or street rabbit. Dog just don't like rabbits. And we were literally in a situation where we weren't liked, and it was tough to navigate that and make it through. So personally, I'm not so much concerned about that. But again, we have individual responsibility. We have the individual responsibility. If Broward County Public Schools doesn't say one thing about African American history, that doesn't stop from at my house.
Right.
We got Channel 2 PBS station. We got Channel 7 PBS station. We got Channel 42 a PBS station. And they put on excellent programs during Black History Month. You know what I mean? The same way we can, that this whole thing of streaming television programs. And this week, I'm going to binge watch whatever it happens to be. My daughter is a big Law and Order fan. If you can watch 8 and 10 consecutive hours, of these programs, and Lord, don't get to love and hip hop and Basketball Wives and Preachers of LA. We watch that stuff indiscriminately. You can't take your family's calendar and say on such and such a night, all of us are going to watch Eyes on the Prize. All of us together are going to watch this documentary on Malcolm X, on Martin Luther King, on Fannie Lou Hamer, on the Civil Rights Movement. Nobody's fault but ours, Dozell. And I don't want to be pessimistic, but it's not going to be easy, Sister Linda, to recapture what we used to have. Wow. It's not going to be easy. Our communities and stuff. I'll say this and I'll be quiet. Let somebody else talk. I was born in 1959. And in my little small community in rural Virginia, 80% of the households were headed by men in the house. The men, the fathers were in the house. Now, my little town, we had more than our share of winos. But we would call them today functional alcoholics because these men went to work every day.
Every day, that's right.
They brought their money home. But boy, during the week, they would get, a little something. But boy, don't let Friday come. It's Friday, my day, get high day. Boy, they want no more good till it's time to go to work again on Monday. But they were in the home. in the home.
So Doc, we're transplants to the area, but we know about 6th Street because both of our former occupations are right off of 6th Street, and we know what Sistrunk was to the Black community. Linda, what was the community in? What was the Black Wall Street in Delray?
Atlantic Boulevard.
The Anthony, he said Linda.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Atlantic Boulevard.
Atlantic.
Where do you live?
I'm in Houston right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I was born in Delray, Boynton, whatever hospital that is, Bethesda.
Amen.
Yeah. So Atlantic Avenue was it?
So Kristin, when you were born, was Ashley Street? Did it have any shops, anything on it, or was it pretty much destroyed by the time you got, or redeveloped, as they say, by the time you were growing up?
I'm Ashley Street. I don't know about any shops ever been on Ashley Street. Are you talking about Florida Avenue?
No. Ashley Street was what Florida Avenue.
La Villa? Oh yeah. I mean, that was probably gone by the time I was born, the late 80s.
I want to make this point. Linda said we got to go back, and Brian Anthony said that he made a real statement that we probably will never go back to that, and that's probably true. But we lost Sistrunk as the heartbeat of the Black community in Broward County. Ashley, Atlantic Avenue morphed into the long strip that leads over to the ocean in Delray. It's become this big Los Olas type thing now. Ashley Street is gone in Jacksonville. But when we lost these places, we were able to go to Regency Square in Jacksonville, and you could go to the Galleria Mall down here in Linda. I don't know where it is you all went to in Palm Beach County. So integration kind of brought it in, but I don't think it was meant for us to come in and forsake. I think it should have been kind of a merging. Don't y'all think we should have kind of like merged and not forsaken our own? Like, okay, yeah, it's okay to be able to go to the Galleria Mall and shop, but man, the brother from Mount Olive, Mr. Cone, had the baddest hat haberdashery in Broward County, right there on the corner of 6th Trunk and 9th Avenue. So I think we as a people, see the Jewish community, how many times that dollar bill flipped before it leaves the community?
That's right.
And so these are just, as we're on the outskirts of just hours away from the month that they gave us, African American History Month. I just want to kind of kick this off. This is what we morphed into. It was a good morph tonight. I want to thank you all and thank you for coming and being back with us on that third Monday night. We're going to talk about the Black family. We're going to look at the family and what we lost. Brian Anthony, you brought up something real, man. That was a real loss when we lost, when dads left the households.
That's right.
And some people say, Linda, that was a tool and trick of the government with the welfare laws. But we're going to get into that.
Right.
I just think, I think we were raised. I know the way Rev raised Ben and the boys. We were raised. If we had a child, the government couldn't keep us from raising our child.
That's right.
And I know that you're the father of all fathers, Brad. So there's nothing to keep us from our kids. $1 or nothing. If we don't get the government money, we'll go out and work for that money. Nobody else gonna raise my son. That was our attitude. So, closing statements, guys. You muted, Linda.
Unmute, Miss Linda.
Okay, so can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. So I did state that we have to get back to where we were yesterday. We know we won't get directly to where we was, but we get an outline. There's an outline of things that we should do, and the biggest thing that you said is these fathers that need to be in these homes, need to be in these children need to have that fear I was scared of my daddy. Well, was I? But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. So
We grew up with
that's
that era,
something-
though.
huh?
We grew up with that era, boy.
Right.
I still have bad dreams of thinking of my daddy thought I did something that I didn't do, and him even looking at me like I did something.
Yeah.
That's an unheard of commodity now, Doc.
Yep.
We're
Exactly.
friends of our children now.
Well, I have to tell that to people, and I tell them that when I grew up, my mom did most of the
Just
discipline at home.
mm,
And the reason that was so, because if my dad got involved, you're getting ready to get killed. So you better submit yourself, to the to the authority of mom. Because if mom had to call in the big guns, man, it was time to cancel Christmas. So I can remember those times even fondly, man. Boy, the few times my daddy had to get involved, well, it was bad news.
Yeah,
It was bad news.
Well, listen, man. Thank you all for. I know you all came on to talk about one subject tonight. Thank you for your flexibility, and I know y'all can weigh in on your multifaceted, weigh in on a lot of stuff, and we kind of morphed into. We had a good morph tonight. Next week we're going to look at so every Monday night in African American History Month, we're going to look at an aspect of African American life in America. Next week we're going to look at education and entrepreneurism. We're hoping to have Mr. Bill McCormick, Black millionaire. Well, he'd probably kill me for saying that, but who has done real well. We want to have him on. He's down on the board of Florida Memorial University. We want to have him on, and then 1 week we're going to. Hey, Susan. 1 week we're going to talk about advocacy and the discussion of reparations. That's something that we wanted to talk about on the dialogue for quite a while. 1 week we're going to talk about the criminal justice system as it relates to African Americans. And then we're going to talk about the Black family. We're going to say that for the third because I want this panel to be back with us. And we're going to bring our gem of a 91-year-old mother on and just talk about legacy in the Black family and what it is, how it leads, which was tonight's topic. But we did all right, I think. So if you guys have nothing else to say, we're going to call it a night, guys. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? We got another week or so to talk about that.
Rams.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. But I think Cincinnati is hungry, though. They won't go down without a fight.
I'm so hurt that Kansas City got whipped yesterday. I'm just sick. That's the worst I've ever seen Patrick Mahomes play. It was just horrible the way they folded yesterday. So we'll make the most out of it. We'll make the most out. Thanks, Susan. We appreciate. She said she's looking forward to it. My good friend, my God buddy, my seminary friend, Pastor Anthony Burrell, my sister, my road dog, Miss Linda Mae Scott. The May is for okay, all right. She'll get me for that later. She always started threatening to beat me up too, guys. Anyway, Dialogue with Dozie brought to you by moreGoGigaCreations.com, LaToya Glenn, Markia Johnson, and their magnificent team. All of your web needs, all of your virtual needs. You see how well this program is produced. Anything you need virtually, they got you. MoreGoGiga.com. MoreGoGiga.com. Until this time next week, 8 o'clock, the dialogue. We'll be looking at African American history. Hey, shout outs, kudos to the Black Eagle, Joe Madison, who finishes his fast. 74 days he fasted for the voters' rights bill to be passed. Thank you. We're gonna get that one day, Joe, while you still around, man. God bless y'all. See you next Monday night. Dialogue with Dozie. Love y'all.